Today, we're breaking down a Texas law where you can be arrested for a state crime just for crossing a line. We're talking about the illegal entry law. So can you really get arrested just for crossing a line? Yup. In Texas, the answer is now a hard yes. Let's dig into what that actually means. All right, the official name is illegal entry, and you can find it in the Texas Penal Code, section 51.02. By the end of this, you're going to know exactly what this law is, what the penalties are, and the specific ways you can defend yourself. Okay, let's break this down into plain English. This law makes it a state crime for a non-citizen to enter Texas directly from another country if they do it anywhere that isn't an official checkpoint. That's a lawful port of entry in legal terms. So let's get into what that means. First up, let's focus on these words directly from a foreign nation. This is super important. This law is laser focused on the act of crossing the international border into Texas. It's not for somebody driving in from Oklahoma or New Mexico. It's all about that first step into Texas from another country. And second, what does not at a lawful port of entry mean? It's pretty simple. Just picture an official border crossing. You know, the places with the gates, the agents, the passport lines. That's a lawful port of entry. This law applies if you cross anywhere else. So what happens if you get convicted under this new law? Well, the penalties are spelled out very clearly, and trust me, they get serious fast. A first-time offense is a Class B misdemeanor. That could land you up to 180 days in jail and a fine up to $2,000. But look what happens if you're convicted a second time. The penalties jump way up. It jumps all the way to a state jail felony. And that is a huge deal. A state jail felony can mean anywhere from 180 days to 2 full years in a state jail facility. The message here is clear. A second conviction brings very serious consequences. Now here's the thing. The law doesn't just lay out the crime. It also gives you specific ways to fight the charge. Think of these as your legal shields. They're called affirmative defenses. An affirmative defense is like a legal hall pass. You're basically saying, yes, I did the thing you're accusing me of, but I had a legally rock-solid reason for doing it. If you can prove it in court, you walk away. This Texas law gives you 3 specific affirmative defenses. Number 1, if the federal government has already granted you asylum or some other form of lawful presence. 2, if your entry didn't actually break the main federal illegal entry law. And 3, if you were approved for DACA within a very specific time frame. Okay. This next part is just as important as knowing what the defenses are. The law actually goes out of its way to tell you what is not a valid defense. And here it is, crystal clear. The law states that approval under the DAPA program, that's Deferred Action for Parents of Americans, cannot be used as a defense for this Texas charge. That's a very specific and important thing to know. All right, let's do a quick knowledge check. A little pop quiz to make sure you've got the key points down. Ready? First question. What's the penalty for a first-time illegal entry offense under this Texas law? That's right, it's a Class B misdemeanor. That's the starting point. Okay, question number 2. When does this offense get much more serious and jump up to a felony? You got it. If you have a previous conviction for the exact same crime, it gets bumped up to a state jail felony. All right, last one, true or false? Having DAPA approval is a valid defense against this charge. What do you think? The answer is false. The law is very specific. DAPA is not a defense. Awesome job. Okay, let's wrap this up. What's the bottom line? What's the one thing you absolutely need to remember from all this? Here it is. For this specific Texas law, the crime isn't just about being in the state. It's about the very specific act of how you entered, directly from another country, somewhere other than an official checkpoint. You gotta know the rules, you gotta know the penalties, and you have to know your rights. Knowing the law is your first step. Taking control of your future is next. If you have ever been arrested in Harris County, you have a criminal record. Go to LegalGangster.com to see if you qualify to expunge or seal your record. If you do, congratulations. Now get your 10-step guide to erase your Harris County criminal record at LegalGangster.com.